Welcome to AI Friday, where AI is taking over the world, but hasn't quite learned how to shave my face yet. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Growing the Money, where we talk about growing the money every morning from 8 to 8:10 a.m. every weekday morning. And why do we talk about AI on Growing Money? Because AI will be the most powerful tool that you can use to influence your life and your family's life, your financial life, your health life, a lot of things. But we kind of tend to focus on the finances here. But we talk about artificial intelligence because if you are behind, you will be left behind. And that's just the way it's going to be. And today I'm going to talk about the new O3 model. We'll talk about what's it used for, how it's changed from the other models, how you should use it. I've got a nice prompt that if you make it to the end, I'll give you a kind of cool prompt that you can go throw on Facebook, but maybe it'll give you some ideas of the power of the O3 model. And what's the other one I got today? Oh yeah, okay. How to use it now on your documents and how to make money and how to not get sued, et yet, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, it's Friday. I'm going camping all weekend. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I'm going camping. It's beautiful down here in Richmond, and I'll be sitting by a campfire. All right. Nobody cares. That's fine. All right. All right. Let's talk about how to use AI. And I'm going to talk about ChatGPT for a little bit. I do think ChatGPT is the best model. If you're trying to figure out where to, like if you had to buy one model and be on one platform, unquestionably, it would be ChatGPT for me. Although I still like to use Claude for a lot of stuff. I use Claude for everything that kind of talks human. And in fact, the ChatGPT model has gone farther away from that in its latest update. So Claude still has a place, but if you only can do one, it's got to be ChatGPT. I don't think there's any contest. All right, I want to talk about how we can use and just kind of give some examples of in our everyday today. How do I use AI in my money lending business? And so I'm going to give you some suggestions. All right, I'm going to start with the idea of your notes and your deeds of trust and your contracts, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to encourage you to take those notes and deeds of trust and load them into ChatGPT. You can just drag them in, attach files, and you can begin to ask questions to the AI about your documents. And this is extremely helpful if you don't understand part of your documents. So sometimes there's some lawyerese that no rational human being that's not an attorney can really understand. And ChatGPT can really lay that out in layman's terms for you. You can also begin to ask ChatGPT its opinion on your documents. For an example, I think something that would be very powerful to ask your AI about your documents is to ask about the vulnerabilities of your document. Saying, if I was going to get sued because of this document, in what manner would I get sued? And then you'll get an answer. It'll tell you, oh, the interest rate here, or if they don't like the verbiage there, or if you're going to get sued by one of your clients, what is the most likely reason for which you would be sued? And then you can come back and you can say, okay, will you then make recommendations to my document that would make my case stronger in case I got sued from that manner? And I don't want you to underestimate the power of something like this. Previously, we'd have to go to attorneys and we have to pay them large sums of money. I'm not suggesting that you don't go to an attorney, that human beings still have to look over these documents, but you can have a discussion with the artificial intelligence about your document. And you can get it to help you improve it. Get a lawyer to check it afterwards if that's what makes you comfortable, but it will give you recommendations of what you can do to protect yourself and to make you less vulnerable. By the way, this would also be something that would be amazing on a lease. So we don't talk a lot about landlording on this show, but I've certainly come from a strong background of landlording, and I certainly have a detailed lease. And putting it into the artificial intelligence, saying, "Hey, when a tenant is going to sue me, how are they going to sue me, and what provisions should I put in this document so that if they do sue me, they have a better chance to win in court?" And so it's super powerful, and I would encourage you to take it with all your documents and begin to have conversations about your documents. Another one is with the same documents is when I do a fractionalized note. And I lend, I need something that I call lazy money. I need someone that is going to allow me to use my money for arbitrage. And so you can ask the AI to explain lazy money to you and then put it in terms which you can explain lazy money to someone else. Because when you're new to the business, it can be a little bit intimidating to go to an individual and say, okay, this is what I want to do with your money. And you have to have that conversation. Well, you can get the AI to give you some prompts to how you can engage in that conversation. It can then go into greater detail of tell you how you can go about convincing people that this would be an attractive investment vehicle for them. And you can even go to the audio pieces where you can have a conversation where people say no, they're not interested in it, or yes, they're interested in it, and then they're going to ask you some questions. And so you can begin to have those conversations about lazy money with an artificial intelligence, so that when you go out into the field and you're meeting people and you're trying to get them to be your lazy money, you have gone through reps. And it's all about reps in life. You go through reps and you go through objections, and then you feel more comfortable about the material. And maybe that person in front of you is going to be your client, or maybe they're not going to be your client. But artificial intelligence will give you a big heads up in this regard. And it's basically, you're just going to go in and you're going to talk to the model, and it's going to really help you out, maybe get over some of those things that you don't understand. So upload those documents, begin to ask questions. You can begin to ask it legal questions. You can begin to ask it sales questions. You can even ask questions like, oh, okay, where am I going to find lazy money? Like, give me some strategies, artificial intelligence, onto where I could go and what environment I could put myself in that I might be able to find my client. So it can be really powerful. It can help you out in really so many ways. And this is just one of the small ones. I got just a couple minutes left, and I wanted to talk about the new O3 model. So the new O3 model came out for ChatGPT. The 04.1 mini plus came out early as well. I think they both just came out in the last week. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you're confused about the models and the names of the models, just welcome to the club. They've done a very, very, very poor job of naming these models, and they are confusing. But the newest one out there, and the one that I was tinkering around with, was the O3 model. And the O3 model, it's less conversational. When we go into the ChatGPT, I would not use, for example, the O3 model to try to have a discussion with the artificial intelligence about lazy money. The O3 model, the most advanced model that's out there right now, is really like a tool. Think of it as an industrial tool almost. It is designed not to have conversations with you, but it's designed to make products for you. It's really a big leap forward into how we're going to integrate artificial intelligence into our businesses. And that's why it's so important that you go around and you play with it. A couple of notes that I made about the O3 model. Got them on a piece of paper here. All right. Oh, no, it's not there at all. Where the heck is it? All right. It's not a conversational model. Like, it's a tool. I think I already said that, of course. And one thing that you have to do with these models now is you have to tell them when they pause to think. So a lot of times the models will quick, and they'll jump to conclusions even. So you have to begin to instruct the artificial intelligence, say, hey, at this stage, I want you to pause and I want you to think. Because sometimes the artificial intelligence now, they become opinionated and they get an opinion that you might not agree with, and then you actually are kind of arguing with them during the chain. So early in your conversations with the O3 model, you have to make sure that your opinion is going to align with artificial intelligence. Otherwise, it might begin to argue with you. And that is a good sign, by the way. It's not a bad sign. It's a good sign because they have to eventually be agents. And agents will have to be opinionated to work for long periods of time. You're going to put an agent out into the world that's going to execute and do a lot of things. It almost needs to have its own personality and its own opinion, which on the one hand is kind of scary even to say, but it is the reality of what it is. And so the self of the AI is becoming more powerful, and then you have to kind of deal with that at the beginning of these prompts. So go around, play with those prompts, tell it to pause, think about it as something that's going to build a product. And so just make up a widget and build a product and use the O3 model to do that project. And that's what it's really there for. If you want to continue to have conversations with the AIs, great. I think Claude is a better model for that. But you can also just go use the 4.0, right? Instead of the O4 or the O3, you're going to use the 4.0. And that's why the names are really confusing. But anyway, who cares? I'm going to give you a prompt. I want you to check it out. Check out this with the 3 model. The O is first. O3 model. I think it's Omni, by the way. I think that's what it means. All right. All right. Here's the prompt. I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I get it right. Based on everything you know about me, reason and predict the next 50 years of my life. And the good news is when I put that in there, that it didn't immediately say you're going to die. It had me living the entire extra 50 years, so I feel kind of good about that. It had some medical advances, and I made it through. Thank goodness. I appreciate the AI not killing me off. But it's pretty fascinating what it comes up with. And then after it comes up with your next 50 years, I want you to put in the second prompt, which is now make a movie poster celebrating my life. And it'll turn it into a movie poster. You can either upload a picture of yourself, or it'll draw a picture of yourself, or maybe use a caricature. But I think it's a pretty good example. I totally stole that from some guy online, by the way. And it was a pretty good example of how the AI can reason and predict and then do a whole bunch of things like put your whole life into a visual and make it into a movie. It's pretty accurate. I'll post mine on Facebook after this podcast. But anyway, I'm at 11 minutes. Growing the Money with Rich Lennon from 8 to 8:30. Of course, on Fridays, we talk about artificial intelligence. If you're interested in learning about lending, visit richlennon.com. Smarter Wealth Blueprint. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And the reason that we go and we work so hard is that we can play so hard and we can be around our family. And I'm going to do that this weekend. I am going to be camping. And then I'm going down to Orlando and fight with Capital One and Wyndham. All right, everybody have a great weekend.